Hi guys, Friction RC here. Thought I'll give a quick update on what I'm doing with my FTX Canyon Mini Outback 2. I was pulling it apart to do a bit of painting. I have completely ruined it. These are, as some of you might have seen from a previous video, I had the toy grade RC. I swapped the body off that because that's a proper decent body shell, even though the car itself is rubbish. So I painted it. So I've got some lacquer on all the body panels, which I did yesterday. So I'm going to cover that today. However, this is what I mean when I say I really messed it up. This was supposed to be fluorescent yellow. Think Hy-Vee's yellow highlighters, that Stabilo type or any other brand. What I think might have happened was the undercoat, the primer that I use, comes out as this kind of greyish color, kind of battleship grey type job. And when I sprayed the fluorescent yellow, it's a matte yellow, and it's one of those yellows you can just get from like Halfords or from like Wilkinson's or any of those sorts of shops. When I sprayed it, it looked cool. It did look bright yellow, but when I went and left it a while to dry out in the sun, when I came back to it, it had changed to this kind of olive green army kind of look, which wasn't what I was going for, because I was thinking, right, if I have it bright yellow, I can do kind of a drift RC type, all those funky garish colors and all that kind of stuff. So now that I've really bodged up the painting, I'm like, well, what do I do? Now, part of me thinks this kind of thing doesn't look too bad. So what I might do is just leave. Let me pull out another one just so you guys get an idea. Where are we? Here we go. So if I do one like this, let's turn it on its side. That might be easier. There we go. Now, my initial thought process was to still continue painting this in the colors I wanted completely, so you don't see this kind of undercoat primer. But now I'm thinking, well, because it's not Hy-Vee's yellow, it's just kind of olive green, I leave this as battleship grey, and maybe add a few kind of paint lines on top, like stripes and decals and that kind of stuff, but leave the main colors this kind of greyish look. So that's the first thing. The next thing is do not try to paint your wheels. I've done it, and trust me, it's an easy thing to do. There's quite a few people who've made vids on how to remove your wheel rims and stuff. It's a 3-part wheel rim. So you've got one on the outside, there's one on the inside, and you've got like a disc in the center. And it's only held together with four screws on the back end. So if I do this, hopefully you can see a couple of the screws. So don't do it. There's 2 reasons I say that. Number one is if you're still not as good as you think you are, like me, you put too much paint down and it starts to run. But more than that, these wheels are millimeter thick, and when they piece together, the little ridges that are inside that help you to line up are literally millimeters or micrometers. So adding a layer of paint to it means that even when it's dry, it's very hard to get it on. It also means that if at some point I want to pull it apart, I'm sure it's going to be stuck together. So with that in mind, I would advise against trying to paint. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you lot, it's not a big deal. You'll figure a way around it. Your painting skills are way better than mine. But my advice is, for most of you lot, do not try to paint your wheels, because it's not so much it won't look cool, it's the hassle involved that once you've painted it, that extra tiny layer on a normal body shell won't make a difference. But when you're putting tiny wheels like this together, when you open up, you'll see what I mean. There's a little ridge inside. There's like 4 ridges, north, south, east, and west, that help line up the front and the back. And when you do that, that extra layer of paint obviously makes it a lot thicker. Sliding it on and off, I know for a fact taking it off is going to be so hard now, because it literally just add an extra layer of grip. So when you want to pull it apart, you won't be able to, or it'll be really difficult, and you might end up damaging the wheels or whatever. So my advice is, yeah, don't do it. I mean, I'm sure they must be doing some sort of replacement wheels, like the Drift RC that you can get for these. Can't believe someone hasn't started doing that if no one's done it already. So yeah, don't do that. The other thing I wanted to do was paint the shocks. That was the whole point of this, paint the shocks, because I was sick and tired of seeing that kind of plasticky red thing. The problem is when I took it apart, I couldn't remove that top bit to get the spring out. I could undo that screw, which connects it to the body, and that's it. So I didn't do that either. What I'm going to do is just leave it as it is, paint the body, and just have some fun. I think may also edit the obviously I had that thing where it wasn't lining up properly. I'm going to do that. So yeah, I cocked it up big time basically. But there you go, you live and learn. Anyway, thanks for watching. Ciao for now.